from India. We understand that India is one of the biggest cradles of democracy. And for obvious reasons, I won't personally comment on the position of India throughout the conflict. But this would not prevent me from asking a few questions, these questions to our friends from the press. We know that India, we've got a very, very strong public opinion. And we know that we've got a sort of independent press in India. But I would like my friend from India, the journalist, to explain how come that in such a country, public opinion has not been sensitized by the press. Now, even if we forget the past, now for the present, I think for generations to come, the public opinion in India and the press will have to bear with its conscience. So what is being done concretely at a time right now when democracy, human rights are not being respected in Sri Lanka, and at a time when the public opinion knows that for tactical reasons, for geopolitical reasons, possibly India adopted a stance, and now we know who are grabbing the contracts in Sri Lanka. So what is the press doing? Second question addressed to our MP from Tamil Nadu. Here also, as somebody, as a Tamil, as a world citizen, I cannot understand the position of the Tamil political parties in Tamil Nadu. Now, even we forget about the past, what is being done concretely now, for all our MPs in Tamil Nadu, what are they doing concretely to help to diffuse the situation and for the reconstruction of Sri Lanka and to bring human rights to our people?
Thank you.
Now, I'm not finished, please. Second question is addressed to our the MPs from Norway and Canada. We know that fully well that these countries have been playing prominent roles. And like others, where double standards are being applied by many countries, one of the colleagues, one of our friends just mentioned about double standards. But still, there is a sort of paradox. The paradox is that at one time when these leading countries who took the initiative to bring peace, they brought a sort of cooling off period. And according to I'm not a specialist on the Sri Lankan matter, but according to my own analysis, it is at that time when there was the cooling off period, when the LTTE started to tone down, it was at that time that the Sri Lankan government had a golden opportunity to finish the LTTE and the fight. So the paradox is now, countries like Canada, countries like Norway, who had a leading role to bring peace, now have even more added responsibility to take further actions, especially in the light of the mea culpa of the United Nations. First time ever in history, I think, where the UN is making a mea culpa, acknowledging all the shortcomings. And also not the shortcoming of the UN as a system, but shortcomings of officers. So what concrete actions can Canada, UK, France, and all these leading countries take to take the UN to task and take concrete sanctions against all the officers who failed in their duties? So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, could Rajesh respond?
Yeah, see, the media in India is not one entity. There are thousands of newspapers, dozens of channels in multiple languages. So what I can say is that this was a war without witnesses. Journalists were not allowed anywhere close to, during the final stages. There has been evidence that has been coming out over the past few years, and whenever that comes out, there's a due diligence that's done, and channels like Headlines Today and the India Today group have gone out there with the versions from the Sri Lankan government and presented it to the Indian media. Now, also building public opinion or public opinion in this matter has changed, if you see. There has been a calibrated change over the past 2 years since the first time the Channel 4 documentary was aired. Subsequent to that, there was a documentary which Headlines Today had made and brought out. And if you see the discussions in Parliament, they have a lot of the stuff that's come on the media that's quoted. There are CDs of television documentaries. There are articles that are cut out and brought forward. So it has been a slow process, and there is a section of the media in India which is playing a whole, after all the due diligence is done, is bringing the evidence forward and bringing it to the people. And in some way, it is not only, the public opinion about this is being formed there, also in the debate in Parliament, that there is a reflection of this which is found.
Regarding your question, I want to tell you one more thing. See, after the war was over, when we raised the issue of about 3 lakh people were completely kept under military campus in this thorn fencing, Sri Lankan embassy people, that is a deputy commissioner, they arranged the top class or the national daily editors level people. They arranged an exclusive flight. They took them to Colombo so that these medias are mesmerized to support in favor of Sri Lanka. In turn, to do opposite work or to our side to bring out the facts, what is going on there, no such work was done from our side. So it is a one-sided report. Your question is perfectly all right, because they have done it in an exclusive work from Sri Lankan embassy, from Tamil Nadu. From Tamil side, no such work was done because, such organization or that was a gap in that. If you have done also, even immediately, about 10 lakhs people, pathetic conditions would have been brought out. All these things, war crimes would have come very earlier. We need not have waited up to this Channel 4 to publish all things. There were so many evidences with the Tamil people. But we don't have an organization or we don't have a setup to bring all these things. That's a gap. Then you have put up a question, what was this Tamil MPs were doing? See, there was, in Tamil Nadu, you know very well, when this war broke out from 1983-84, it is a wholeheartedly support Tamil people. Entire people rallied and supported. After 91-96, there was a gap. But till 2007 and 8 and 9, people definitely have supported. But you know, there are so many political alignments that has not fully acted well. But irrespective of that, in Tamil Nadu Assembly, after 2011, this government has passed 2 resolutions. First resolution was to put an economical blockade against Rajapaksa government. We all raised and the present Tamil Nadu government supported this an economical blockade against Rajapaksa government. So we are all in support of Tamil people only.
Thank you, Dr. Krishnaswamy. Could Marie from the Red Party comment?
As it was said before, I'm not sure if what we can do is more to use more strong measures in that kind of sense as R2P is. That I will deny. If we see what has happened in Libya, if we see now the kind of pressure that is building up in Syria, I really don't believe that we need that kind of pressure to do something quickly, you know, in these kind of settings. But what if I want, I can make a comparison. If we see what's happened in West Bank, every day people are, every day there are new settlements from the Jewish populations. And if you see what is also happening now in Sri Lanka, there's new people, Sinhalese people is moving into the land of the Tamil people. I mean that we could try to build up an international pressure. Perhaps a boycott is not a good measure because that would also affect the Tamil population, but we need to discuss other measures to push from outside. The international community cannot just sit like we say now, just with words. We have to have some kind of goals. What kind of pressure do we want to tell our government that they have to do? We can think about political boycott. It could also be kind of sanctions that are more directly going to the Sinhalese government. I don't know these things. You know it better than me. But I think that we have to think more of the pressure that we can build up outside, and not just what we can push inside the parliaments. We need pressure from outside. And then perhaps we need to address some kind of thoughts about variations of boycott. I don't know. It's just a suggestion.
Thank you, Mariela. Could Andy make a comment?
Yeah, I've just elected myself an honorary member of the Red Party of Norway, by the way. I mean, I think the Petri report in particular shows that there are very, very good people working on the ground for the United Nations. But it does not show that the United Nations has admitted all its faults. I mean, even the Petri report was busily being redacted on the day before publication. I mean, they haven't admitted all their failings. And also, the failing isn't just at an institutional level. It's not just people not doing their job within an institution. A very clear political decision was made against the wishes of many people working for the UN to suppress the truth by the UN. The very mechanism which the world trusts that will alert the world to huge human rights abuses was deliberately suppressing that truth, right? And you can't just leave that down to a few people not doing their job. And the big question is, why didn't Ban Ki-moon publish the truth, right? And the answer has to lead not only within the institution of the UN, but what political pressure was being brought on him? What powers in the UN Security Council? Why didn't he publish the truth? And it goes back to exactly the point which was being made earlier. I mean, the degree of complicity which the Petri report suggests is enormous. And I also agree with my fellow member of the Red Party of Norway that in this context, our pressuring here is absolutely right, but it can't be seen as the entire strategy. We have to develop a new strategy which does not entirely focus on these entirely questionable and problematic institutional methods.